This is sort of a strange way to start the first show with me back in studio. I've been away for a couple days. We've had Farron Cousins from Ring of Fire filling in for me. Weird topic, weird way to start, but we really do need to talk about whether you, and I'm talking to you in the audience, whether you want me to address something vile and something that is really quite depraved, and that is the so-called crisis actor false flag conspiracy theories. And if you don't even know what that is, good. I wish I were in your shoes. I wish I didn't know what it was either. But what it is that very often when there's a mass shooting, there are these elements from the underbelly of the internet and from the Alex Jones show that claim that the events were staged with actors. And there's always some motive that they come up with. So if it's a Democratic president that's in the White House, then the reason that one would stage a false flag attack using crisis actors would be as a pretext to take guns away from people. And of course, never happened under President Obama, as you probably know. If it's a Republican president in the Oval Office, then the reason is to make the president look bad. You're staging one of these incidents to make the president look bad, maybe also to justify taking guns away. And they'll attempt to prove this by pointing out that it's all the same so-called actors that appear as victims in the shootings. You see them on TV, you see them being interviewed, even in different parts of the country. It'll be the exact same people that are the victims in a California shooting, and then the same kid shows up as a victim in the Florida shooting, for example. And then the other angle is there was a military or terrorism drill scheduled to take place on the same day. And that's part of the conspiracy. It's stuff like that, right? Now, in the past, I've sometimes done these 20-minute videos going piece by piece through the conspiracy theory and debunking each element of it. And some people appreciate it, but then others would just watch it and come up with new claims about how, well, I ignored this detail or that detail is actually part of the conspiracy. There was really no changing of minds, right? People who agreed with me that there was no such conspiracy already didn't believe it, so the video didn't make a difference, and then the people who believed in the conspiracy theory weren't going to have their minds changed by me doing a video. So at a core level, first of all, think about how absurd the idea is, right? Whatever entity pulled off the successful orchestration of mass murder, as well as presumably the brainwashing of a shooter to get them to do it, wasn't able to hire a company that had more than the same few dozen actors to play the victims, right? I mean, it's absurd at its face. How incompetent are the same people that can pull off the incredible conspiracy of actually getting the shooting to happen? So my instinct, Pat, is maybe just ignore this stuff because there's just such cognitive dissonance among the believers that I don't know that the debunking is really going to do anything.
It's very hard to go up against, and it often doesn't bear any fruit because any evidence that you present that is supposed to debunk the conspiracy theory is interpreted as evidence that supports the conspiracy theory.
That's exactly right.
So if you take these Parkland school victims, maybe people will say that, oh, you have the yearbooks, so they're academic records. Well, that just goes to show that they were planning this for a long time.
That's exactly
and
right.
And that they were willing to Photoshop and do whatever they could.
Exactly. And you will only get a stronger belief in the conspiracy. And so you might, I mean, everything Pat and I have said so far would suggest don't even talk about it. Don't debunk it. Don't try to do anything. The logical question is, well, David, then why are you even asking us? Isn't it obvious that you should just ignore it? The only thing that makes me wonder whether it is worth commenting on it would be to try to more broadly discredit the types that will push this stuff every single time, right? It's sort of the idea that if people realize that Alex Jones is pushing an absurd narrative about child actors, crisis actors, and false flags, then maybe we should look at his claims about Trump and guns and the economy with a skeptical eye. And of course, strictly speaking, right, every assertion needs to be evaluated on its own. Otherwise, it's a sort of ad hominem fallacy to say because person A was wrong about one thing, they are by definition wrong about everything else. But no matter whether or not they're right on some issues, I wouldn't want to be getting my news from someone who thinks the shooting in Florida last week was anything other than a tragedy connected to gun culture, firearms availability, and mental health, not a staged operation akin to a Hollywood movie. That's the one thing that makes me think maybe there is some value in exposing this stuff. I don't know the answer.
I think the other factor there is how many people believe the conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Like if it's something that's very fringe and just a few folks are buying into it, maybe that's not worth it for us. But something like 9/11 being a hoax, a significant chunk of Americans at one point believed in that
Yes,
stuff.
although the counter to that would be when it's the ones that more people believe, the impact of one debunking may not really make that big of a dent in the number of believers. There's,
Sure,
I
but
guess,
you're doing
there's,
a part, I guess.
yeah, there's an argument to be made either way. So listen, send me your thoughts. Let me know what you think we should be doing about this type of thing. Ignore it altogether. Mention it exists, but don't get into the details because getting into the details won't really convince anyone. Or really dig into it the way we've done with some of these in the past, like the Sandy Hook shootings. I don't know the answer. I'm waiting to hear from you, and I guess we'll develop some kind of policy, and maybe the policy would be decide on a case-by-case basis. I don't know. The video you just finished watching was made possible by you through the membership program. You can sign up for membership at davidpakman.com/membership. We are viewer-supported independent media. You can use the coupon code IVoted17 for a 40% discount off of your membership.